Hello, welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. And in this episode, we really want to unpack the component that is centered on what it is they will talk to you about, tell you about, and how that has a direct inroad into the component of growth that we call pain or we perceive as painful. Oftentimes, we romanticize growth. We celebrate the wins and the milestones, but we don't talk enough about the growth pains, the discomfort, the doubt, and the sacrifices that we have to make in order for us to move from current state to some designated or desired future state. The truth is that it is in this process where we feel the pain of growth. And if you're feeling this thing right now, it doesn't mean you're failing. It's far from that particular meaning. It simply means you are in the process of moving from where you were to where you desire to be. The so-called pain or discomfort, the sacrifices are all typical. You should not feel as though this is abnormal because it's not. So we're going to take a look at these hard truths. We're going to do it in a little bit of a dance, if you will, where we illustrate a truth and then we unpack it with a series of action steps that you can use to begin doing further discovery once you have completed the podcast. Today would be a great day for you to have pen and paper so that you can take some notes. Truth number one, growth requires letting go. You can't level up without shedding old beliefs, behaviors, and sometimes people. Let me hit the people part for just a minute. If you are alpha in the group that you predominantly find yourself in from a professional development standpoint, it's time for you to leave that group, allow somebody else to come in to that role, and you go to the next group. Because if you are in that environment, you're not able to grow. Everybody is depending on you, and you don't necessarily, in some cases, have the wherewithal to now grow. Second piece to the people part is if you find yourself in environments where the people are not striving to do what it is that you're striving to do, and if you don't have, it should be that all of you are moving in the same general direction, striving for the same outcomes and goals. If you find that's not present, there's energy vampires in your midst. Another good reason for you to consider the friendship piece. Now, back to truth number one, growth requires letting go. Research in behavioral psychology shows that our brains resist change because familiarity makes us feel safe. So even when it's not serving us, that safety is paramount to each of our brains, our mindsets, and the general emotional state that we find ourselves in. When you see that resistance, you start feeling the pressure there, emotions and thoughts start to kick in. This is not the sign for you to stop. This is the sign that tells you exclusively that you need to move forward because you are outside of your comfort zone. Not just you, but your being is outside of this comfort zone. And it's here where the real growth takes place. Your action step is to take inventory of the situation, of you, your feelings, and your emotions. What habits, environments, and relationships are no longer aligned with who you're becoming, and evaluate if it's the right time for you to release from those relationships, from those beliefs, from those habits, so that you can form brand new ones that help you go in a direction that you desire to move. Truth number two, clarity comes through action, not before it. Waiting for the perfect timing. Waiting for this clarifying moment where all of the moons are aligned is a myth. That is not going to take place. Neuroscience confirms that action precedes clarity. You need about 70 to 80% of the plan. You need to know that once you get there, it's time to act. It is time to execute. And because you're at 70 to 80%, you have to factor in that you are going to encounter some circumstances along the way that you may not have a perfect plan. And you taking the leap of faith and being outside of your comfort zone, what's going to happen is at the time that you need, that data will become available to you. You just have to believe the system. This is how it works. The movement stimulates neural feedback loops that help you to refine your direction. Your entire body and chemistry is in alignment more often than not with how you perceive things. So you're changing your perception from I need absolute clarity to 70 to 80% clarity. And from here, you can now move forward and begin going through the other part of this painful process where not only are you outside of your comfort zone, but you don't have every single component of the plan figured out. I should also mention, in fairness to each of you, that there will also be moments where your core plan doesn't work the way you thought it would, and you will need to ebb and flow in such a way that you can move past that and understand what piece works, reconstruct what you need to do to move forward, and then move forward. No matter how many times you need to repeat that process to get past whatever the hurdle or the impediment is. Here's your action step. Pick one step, no matter how small, and start doing it today. No longer are you going to wait for the perfect time to craft the perfect plan. You're going to get to 70, 80%, and you're going to move forward with execution. I don't want you to do it next week. I want you to do it today. Action is the primary element to build your momentum. Number 3, growth will trigger your insecurities. Your comfort zone gets really loud, very active in your head and sometimes in your heart. If you've ever had anything to do with the imposter syndrome, you can expect that to be at its absolute pinnacle during this time. Fear of judgment is going to multiply and amplify, and it's going to unfortunately bring to the surface other events that you have participated in where you didn't necessarily hit the mark. Really change your course of action. It isn't a flaw. It's your brain trying to recalibrate because of the fear factor associated with it being outside of its comfort zone. And so when you find yourself feeling insecure, like you're not enough, you have to know that it's par for the course. This was all a part of this journey. Some of these painful points that are equated to growth, and you're just going to have to press through that. Psychology calls this cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort from stepping into a new identity. Yes, anytime that you endeavor to do something that you've never done, in this case, become whom you've always desired to be, but you have to leave the current state, there's going to be a fight. And it's going to be an all-on fight with emotions, with feelings, with behaviors, and certainly with some mindset challenges. Here's your action step. Journal your fears. Follow each one with a question. Is it true? What are we doing here? We're laying out very succinctly what's going on the inside. When we put it on paper, we don't become overwhelmed. That's a prevention of that feeling of overwhelm is going to allow us to continue to press forward. We're going to challenge the inner critic. We're looking for evidence as we're writing down what's going on. And effectively, what you're going to find is that 85 to 90% of the time is all, or at least all of the pain and the turmoil and the discomfort, that is all self-generated. When you go in search of the facts, and this is a fantastic opportunity for you to learn something about you and how to move where self-improvement and moving through various stages of your life succinctly with these challenges, trying to keep you safe, you'll see that you can move through those. And once you get good at this, there won't be anything that can stop. Truth number 4, there will be sacrifice. Growth costs something. We all would agree to that. I want you to consider time, energy, certainty, and sometimes relationship. Remember, we talked about the human component of this early on. But here's what research from the Stanford Graduate School of Business reminds us. Purpose-driven sacrifice leads to greater long-term satisfaction. You're not losing. You're in an investment period. You are investing in yourself. Can't forget that this level of discomfort that you feel is normal. Everyone goes through it. And it's those who become comfortable with feeling all of these feelings that we've talked about and unpacking these action steps. It's those individuals who go on to receive a prize. If you stop, if you halt, if you throw in the towel, you don't get the prize. You must go through this and understand why you're going through it. Then you move from point A to point B, your action step. Reframe sacrifice as an investment. What are you building? What are you changing and why? Who are you becoming as a result of the discomfort? These are 4 very powerful truths that we've been able to unpack today to really help you understand what it means for a person who is experiencing authentic growth. The growth isn't pretty. It's not Instagram perfect. It's gritty. We've shared with you where the pain literally comes from. But you have to ask the question, is your why worth it? If you're clear and resolved in your why, you'll have no problem negotiating this period. The discomfort that you're bound to feel is not your enemy. It's the sign that you are at work in progress. You are making the incremental steps that are necessary for you to move from where you are to what you want to be. And that is all positive. So embrace the sting, get comfortable, feeling a little bit uncomfortable, lean into it, and just keep on showing up. And what you're going to find is you're going to get to where you want to be far faster than you would have ever imagined if you stay the course. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please consider leaving us a rating or review. Feel free to connect with us through Linktree. The link is available in the show notes. I want to remind you that you are enough. You can do it. You are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.